Hello everybody, this is Hobby the Gamer here. Welcome back to my 7th season of my Doncaster Rovers Road to Glory career mode. As usual, I will start off with the transfers, who I brought in, and then move into the league highlights. Unfortunately, I do not have any live games to play for you guys today. And after that, there is some news that I want to share about this save and where I am planning on taking it. So stick around for that. Pretty big news for the save. So without further ado, let's get into the transfers. Alright, moving into the first transfer that I made this season. I felt defensively we were a bit light, so that's why Deion Sanderson was my first signing in the summer. He's still young. He's 28. Oh, he's not young, but he's in his prime. 28 years old. I got him 78 overall. Picked him up for a fee of $13 million. The board wasn't too happy with that, giving it a rating of a C. But realistically, I don't really see how I could have gotten 10.9. But yeah, he should be a good starter for us. Slide right into the first team and really help strengthen our defensive line. Now, the second transfer that I made was also a defender, Ronnie Edwards, coming in from, I believe it is a La Liga team, coming in to the team now during the summer window. He is 25 years old. Got him for a fee of $11 million, which is pretty good. Be a nice little rotational player for us. He is a 77 overall, so I believe that's on par with about the other players on the defensive line. So really would be a pretty good player for us as well. The third player that I picked up in the summer transfer window was Taiwo Awoni from, I believe it was Norwich. I believe he was playing for Norwich in this save. I just felt that we needed another physical striker for us, and Awoni had the stats that I liked, so that's why I picked him up. Paid $22 million for him, a little bit over his value, but the board felt that I could have gotten less for that, but I didn't think anything like that. So they gave us a rating of a C, which it's whatever, it doesn't really matter. Now, once the January transfer window had shut, this was towards the end of the season, I did make a few free transfers on players that had their contracts running out. So the first player that I would bring in is Bernard Leno. He is 37 years old, German goalkeeper, formerly played for Arsenal, so he's got Premier League experience, 79 overall, and he's a couple overalls higher than Angus Gunn. Angus Gunn's getting pretty old too, but I felt like this season he kind of regressed in his abilities, which is why I felt that we needed to bring in a more veteran player for our team. The second free transfer that I made for a player that had their contract run out in the summer was for Hannibal. He is 26 years old. He's right in his prime, 84 overall. This was a fantastic bit of business for us, I believe. We only had one pure center attacking midfielder in Charlie Webster, especially with the departure of Charlie McCann, who is no longer with the team anymore. So we bring in a very good player that will immediately slide into the first team and help elevate us to hopefully newer and bigger things next season. Well, that's all I have for the transfers that I brought in. So with that, we can go into the league highlights now. Okay, moving on to this first game against Aston Villa. Noah Lang would get on the score sheet first for them with his good strike. They just played it around our defense and found an opening. Same thing happened here for this goal. Noah Lang would get his brace. They just played it around perfectly, finding the spaces and exploiting them. They would go on to get a third goal as well. Just more perfect passing from them, just finding the space, exploiting it, and they get the win. Next game up against Brentford, Angus Gunn initially makes a good save, but the rebound falls nicely to them, and they get on the sheet first. They would go on to extend their lead over us. Brian Mbeumo dancing around in the box, playing it over to Sarr, who has a great strike that Angus Gunn can't stop. We will get a goal back early, right before the half, thanks to Aaron Connolly, but it wouldn't be enough to get things going, and Brentford would take all 3 points, especially after they go on to add a third goal. Crystal Palace up next. We would get things going with Dahida Chong's fantastic strike, left-footed strike. Initial shot was blocked. He does well to hit home on the volley. Jonathan Rowe plays it over to Charlie Webster, who lines up for the power shot. His shot comes off the post into the back of the net for a great finish. Moving on to Chelsea, just more defensive issues in the back. Reece Williams can't get the ball cleared fast enough, and they strike first. Same thing happened here. Jonathan Rowe trying to play out from the back. Mistake. Chelsea pounds, and they get the win. This game against Middlesbrough, I tried taking out McGree here with Onyango, but McGree punishes us for that missed tackle and sends home a delightful chip. Dahida Chong would save a point for us, taking the ball from the corner kick and unleashing a wonderful finesse shot for the draw. Manchester City up next. Erling Haaland would get on the score sheet first for them. Of course, he's always finishing from there. He's a clinical striker, and Manchester City would just pile on to their lead and take home the dub. Tottenham up next. Gio Reyna playing it over to Brian Gill, and they strike first. They will get a second thanks to Declan Rice playing over to Brian Gill once again. Gill plays India, sends Williams the wrong way, and they strike again. They will get a third goal to just extend their lead over us. Just great passing, more defensive issues from us. However, we would get a goal back. It wasn't anything spectacular to strike a comeback, but Stephen Ward, nice little finish to get a consolation goal. Sheffield United up next. Just watch how they pass it. Just seems like all the teams are just a carbon copy of one another. They just pass it around and get the win. Arsenal, moving on to Arsenal. Another through ball finds Skamaka, and he finishes from there. Puedo out on the left side finds in Kayosaka. Angus Gunn, I don't even know what he's doing there. I don't know what he was trying to do, but Kayosaka scores. Aaron Connolly, nice little control from his chest, gets a goal back from us, but we won't be able to get anything from it. And Arsenal would go on to win with this third and final goal of the match. Just more good play. Martin Odegaard, such a good player, and they get the win. Moving on to Everton, Jonathan Rowe would get the winner and seal our fate in the Premier League and keeping us in the Premier League. Alright, now that the transfers and the highlights are done, we can go through the season statistics. As you can see, we've placed worse than we did last season. We sit 16th on 32 points, and as in the league highlights, our last game was against Everton. We beat them, and we sent them down into the championship for next season. This was a horrible season for us. I really don't know where it went wrong. I thought I improved the team compared to last season, and we were sitting in the relegation zone for a majority of the season, and then we started to pick up some more wins towards the end of the season, and luckily we managed to pull ourselves out of the relegation zone. Yeah, it was not a good season for us. As you can see, we have 9 wins, 5 draws, and 24 losses. Absolutely horrendous season. I really have no idea where it went wrong. I mean, I tried changing the tactics. I tried rotating players out, and I just don't know. Yeah. And in the FA Community Shield, we lost 3-1 versus Manchester City. Not too upset about that. Just I treated that as like a preseason game anyways. In the FA Cup, we had a very early exit. I believe round 3. Yeah, we lost to Watford out of all teams, 3-1. That just can't be happening compared to last season where we won the FA Cup. It's just horrible. Horrible performance. And same with the Carabao Cup, we exit in the 4th round. We lost to Sheffield United 2-1. Just absolutely pitiful performance. I believe we were in the Europa League. In the group stages. Yeah, we were up against Başakşehir, Leverkusen, and FC Copenhagen. We finished 3rd on 8 points, 2 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. Başakşehir finished 1st with 11 points. Leverkusen came in 10th, came in 2nd on 10 points, and we finished 3rd. So we weren't out of Europe though. We did drop down into the Conference League, and in the prelims we lost to Dinamo Zagreb on aggregate. It finished 3-3. They won 4-3 on penalties. So horrible performance for us in the domestic cups in Europe, and that might have been a blessing in disguise because that might have given us more time to focus on the league and really helped pull us out of the relegation zone. So there's that. Taking a look at the board objectives, manager rating is 53, weak, and I don't blame them. Youth development, didn't do that. I don't think we needed any more youth players, to be honest with you. We signed 1 young player. I thought I did that, but I don't think it registered because I think I signed Ronnie Edwards, or I thought somebody was in their young 20s, and it should have registered, but I don't know what they considered young. So Europa League, we did reach the group stage, so there's that. And then once we dropped down to the Conference League, they wanted us to win the cup. Obviously, that didn't happen. We got knocked out in the prelims. And in the Premier League, surprisingly, it was only a low priority for them, so that was maybe my saving grace, the only reason why I didn't get sacked. But they wanted us to finish mid-table. Obviously, that didn't happen. Barely got out of the relegation zone. FA Cup, wanted to reach the round of 16. That didn't happen either, so not good considering where they wanted us. Really, we should have improved, but we regressed. We did worse than last season. So going into the squad hub. Unfortunately, I don't know why. I think I went too far into the off season and the stats reset. And I tried going back to the older autosaves, and it was the same thing here. So it shows that everybody's got 0-0-0. But if I remember correctly, Oh Hyun-gu was probably the top goal scorer of the season, followed by Aaron Connolly. And assists, this really could have gone to anybody. Clean sheets, probably Angus Gunn was the top clean sheet. He probably also won the top appearances as well, since I didn't really rotate him out for anybody. So yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why that is. Just some weird bug, I guess. So yeah, unfortunately that's gonna be cutting the statistics quite short. But yeah, moving on to the transfer hub and show you guys some of the outgoing transfers that happened. Yeah, Samuel Braybook, he put in a transfer request halfway through the season, which I wasn't surprised. We were in the relegation zone, so I accepted a bid from Arsenal for $40 million. Gave us a nice chunk of cash. Same thing happened with Charlie McCann. He also wanted to leave as well, seeing as we were in a relegation zone. And I just accepted the first offer that came in, Real Sociedad, with an offer for $3.15 million. So he's off to La Liga. And Caleb Chukwuemeka, I sold him earlier in the season. I just felt we were oversaturated with our right wingers, so there's that. And Daniel Maloney, just some dead wood. Most of these youth players, they were just kind of dead wood. I didn't really need them on the team anymore, so that's where Daniel Maloney was sold to Watford for $13 million. Charles Hartley going to Go Ahead Eagles for $7 million. Bartosz Kazmarek going to Norwich for $5.1 million. Kyle Hudlin headed to AC Ajaccio for 4.35 million. Reese Wynn headed to Wolfsberger AC for 3.75 million. Dele Balogun 2.15 million headed to Saudi Arabia. Jude Cox to Birmingham City on that was a very small transfer fee, $550,000, and that's really everything else. Everybody else was just loaned out, so that's it. Regarding the news for this save, I feel like it's time for me to take a break from this Doncaster Rovers career mode. I'm just not having the same amount of fun as I was earlier. It could be just a grind trying to get to, obviously, moving from League 2 to the Premier League. That's going to be a very long grind. So I think I'm going to take a break from this, and I've done a little bit of research into some other teams. I'm leaning towards doing a team either in the French league, the German leagues, or the Portuguese leagues. The Portuguese league. If I do one of those teams, that would only be a smaller save. I'm looking to do more of a rebuild. Ideally, I like it to be maybe 3 or 5 seasons, something like that. So it's not that big of a grind. And then once that's done, I'll come back here to my Doncaster Rovers career mode, finish this out. If we make it to the Champions League, that'd be great. Or if unfortunately we get sacked, then that's it. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna take a break from this save here and then do a team that's either in the French leagues, German leagues, or the Portuguese league. If I was to do a German league, I would probably do someone that's in the Bundesliga or the second tier, not the third tier. I'm not really looking to do another road to glory at this time. Like I said, it's just something more of a rebuild, something that'll take a couple seasons at the max. So with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in today. Sorry that the game bugged out and I couldn't show you guys the full stats, but hopefully you guys will tune in about a couple weeks time. I would say I'll have the next episode of my new save up, so hopefully you guys stick around for that. And if you guys have any suggestions as to what teams I should do, I'd love to hear them. So thank you for tuning in today, and hopefully you guys all have a fantastic day.